learners. Our subject for today is Science for the 5th grade for quarter 4, week 1. And our topic is weathering. For the most essential learning competency, describe how rocks turn into soil. Earth is mainly composed of rocks that differ in terms of sizes, shapes, and colors. Though rock seems to be very hard, dense, and indestructible, they still break. Rocks are broken down into smaller pieces by the effects of weather. These pieces do not move to a new location, they simply break down but remain next to one another. The breaking of rocks into fragments is known as weathering. Weathering is an important process that helps shape the Earth's surface. The breaking of rocks results in the formation of soil and different landforms. This is the reason why we have amazing rock formations. Weathering can either be mechanical or chemical. Mechanical weathering is a physical wearing away of rocks without any change in their chemical nature. While chemical weathering involves change in the composition of rocks that allows them to break down into pieces. We have the following agents of weathering. First, we have water. Water can break rocks in different ways. The strong waves that sift into the cracks of rocks can make them break. When it gets colder, this water can expand and turn into ice, which can trigger rocks to break as well. Another agent of weathering is the wind. Wind is another agent of weathering that causes beautiful formations like the Mahayao Arc in Sabtang Island, Batanes, Philippines. As the wind blows, it carries sand or small rock particles that scratch the rock's surface. This can bring about mechanical weathering, which can also result to different rock formations. Another agent of weathering is the temperature. When rocks are exposed to varying temperature, it expands. If rocks are exposed to a low temperature, it contracts. The repeated expansion and contraction of rocks due to changes in temperature results in weathering. Another agent is plants. Some plants like lichens, ferns, and mosses can also trigger weathering. It can grow on rocks and cause them to break into pieces. Eventually, metabolic or life process of these plants will cause the gradual breakage of rocks into smaller pieces. Another is we have the animals. Animals that live underground also contribute to weathering. As burrowing animals can dig deeper, they cause rocks to break into pieces. Another agent of weathering is humans. Humans also contribute to the weathering of rocks. Subdivision developers use bulldozers to flatten mountains or hills to build houses. Some construction workers use jackhammer to break boulders of rocks as they repair roads. Mining companies extract stones of rocks from a quarry or an open pit mine. Some miners throw dynamites and other explosives on quarry sites to get more rocks or stones, which can trigger landslides. For the development, the activity that you are going to perform will clearly explain weathering through communicating the data collected from the investigation on the soil erosion. For learning task 1, prepare the materials listed below. If not available, you may use other materials at home to perform the activity. You may ask the help of your parents or guardians or any adult members of the family if needed. The title of the activity is Erosion by Water. The materials: 2 small pans, 6 cups of garden soil, 2 bottles of 500 ml water, and the procedures: get 2 small pans and fill them with garden soil. Label one pan as A and the other as B. Pour water gradually in the soil on the first pan. What happened to the soil? Describe the movement of the soil. For number 3, repeat procedures number 2 on the second pan. This time, pour the water rapidly into the soil. And what happened? Compare the difference in terms of the movement of the soil from the first one. And record the time and measure your observations. After that, you are about to answer the following questions. Number 1, based on your observation, in which setup did the soil move faster and why? Number 2, based on your observation, in which setup did the soil move further and why? Number 3, based on your observation, which setup moved more soil and why? Number 4, as you observe, what happened to the color of the water? And number 5, based on the data collected in the experiment, what can you conclude about soil erosion? For learning task 2, prepare the materials listed below. If not available, you may use the other materials at home to perform the activity. You may ask the help of your parents, guardians, or any adult members of the family if needed. The title of the activity is Showing Wind Erosion. The materials needed: 1 cup of fine sand, hard cardboard, paper plate. Procedures: number 1, pour 1 cup of fine sand on a paper plate. Number 2, slowly fan the sand on the paper plate using the hard cardboard. What do you observe? Number 3, next, fan the sand bit faster, and what happens? Number 4, try different speed of fanning. Draw what shape forms each time you change the speed. Then, you will answer the number 1 question. As you observed, how does the speed of the fanning affect the shape of the sand formed? For the engagement, learning task 3, use a Venn diagram to compare and contrast mechanical and chemical weathering. So here is the Venn diagram.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let us now answer learning task 3. So the first one, mechanical weathering is a physical wearing away of rocks without any change in their chemical nature. While the chemical weathering involves a change in the composition of rocks that allows them to break down into pieces. And their similarity, they are the processes that wears away rocks into soil. For learning task 4, identify the change happening in each situation. On the space provided before each number, draw a heart eyes emoji if the change is an example of mechanical, and wow emoji if it is an example of chemical weathering. So for number 1, a boulder of shore is slowly broken apart by the force of water. Number 2, earthworm makes the tunnels into ground, which may lead to the breakdown of stones and rocks. Number 3, some plants release chemicals which loosen the rocks and cause them to break. Number 4, water inside the rocks freezes and melts again. Number 5, the chemical composition of rocks changes when acid is produced by the roots of some plants. Number 6, minerals in rocks dissolve. Number 7, tree roots can grow into cracks and break rock apart. Number 8, as the wind blows, it carries sand or small rock particles that scratch the rock's surface. Number 9, as the rocks expand, the cracks become deeper and new cracks are produced. Number 10, rocks exposed to the intense heat of the sun crack and crumble when rain falls or soaked in the ground.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay, so let us answer learning task 4. For number 1, is your answer heart eyes emoji? You are correct. Number 2, if your answer is heart eyes emoji, then you are correct. Number 3, if your answer is wow emoji, you are correct. Number 4, if your answer is heart eyes emoji, you are correct. Number 5, if your answer is wow emoji, you are correct. Number 6, minerals in rocks dissolve. If your answer is wow emoji, you are correct. Number 7, if your answer is heart eyes emoji, then you are correct. Number 8, if your answer is heart eyes emoji, you are correct. Number 9, if your answer is heart eyes emoji, you are absolutely correct. And number 10, if your answer is heart eyes emoji, you are correct. For learning task 5, describe how rocks turn into soil in the following pictures below. Write your description on the space provided beside each picture. And we have the first and the second picture.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay, for picture number 1, here is my example answer. Ferns grow on rocks and cause them to break into pieces. For number 2, here is my example answers. When miners throw dynamites and other explosives on quarry sites to get more rocks or stones, which can trigger landslide. Then we have picture number 3.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay, so my sample answer for number 3 will be the strong waves that sip into the cracks of rocks can make them break. When it gets colder, this water can expand and turn into ice, which can trigger rocks to break as well. For learning task 6, read each question carefully and circle the letter that corresponds to the correct answer. For number 1, it is the breaking of rocks into fragments. A. Erosion, B. Flooding, C. Weathering, D. Runoff. Number 2, a type of weathering that involves change in the composition of the rocks. A. Chemical, B. Both chemical and mechanical, C. Mechanical, or D. Electrical. Number 3, it is open pit mine when rocks can be extracted. A. Landfill, B. Reservoir, C. Open field, D. Quarry. Number 4, which of the following tends to cause physical or mechanical weathering? A. Animal that burrow in the ground, B. Root of plants growing into the cracks in the rocks, or C. Water that seeps into the pores and cracks of rocks, and D. All of this. Number 5, what will happen to a rock when it is exposed to higher temperature? Is it A. Contracts, B. Evaporates, C. Expands, or D. Sinks?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay, so let us answer learning task 6. For number 1, it is the breaking of rocks into fragments. The answer will be C. Weathering. Number 2, a type of weathering that involves change in the composition of the rock. The answer is A. Chemical. Number 3, it is open pit mine when rocks can be extracted. The answer is letter C. Open field. Number 4, which of the following tends to cause physical or mechanical weathering? The answer is D. All of the above, or all of this. And number 5, what will happen to a rock when it is exposed to higher temperature? Okay, so it expands. For the simulation, don't forget that weathering is an important process that helps shapes the Earth's surface. It is the breaking down of rocks into fragments. Mechanical weathering is the physical wearing away of rocks, while chemical weathering involves a change in the composition of rocks that allows them to break into pieces. And the different agents of weathering includes water, wind, temperature, plants, animals, and people. They cause rocks to break into pieces. For the assessment, learning task 6, this is a matching type. Match the definition in column A with the concept in column B. Write the letter of your answer on the space provided before each number. So for column A, we have 1. It happens when rocks are exposed to a low temperature. Number 2. A type of weathering characterizes by physical wearing of rocks. Number 3. As agent of weathering, they dig deeper, causing rocks to break into pieces. Number 4. As it blows, it carries sand or small rock particles that scratch the rock's surface. Number 5, the process by which human extracts stones from the mountains. And for the column B, A. Contracts, B. Varying animals, C. Chemical, D. Physical, E. Wind, and F. Quarrying.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay, so let us now answer learning task 6 for the assessment. Okay. Okay, for number 1, it happens when rocks are exposed to a low temperature. The answer is A, contracts. For number 2, a type of weathering characterized by physical wearing of rocks. Is your answer letter D, physical? You are correct. Number 3, as an agent of weathering, they dig deeper, causing rocks to break into pieces. Is your answer letter B, burrowing animals? You are correct. Number 4, as it flows, it carries sand or small rock particles that scratch the rock's surface. Is your answer letter E, wind? Then you are correct. Number 5, the process by which humans extract stones from mountains. The answer is letter F, quarrying. Okay, so that concludes our topic about weathering. Thank you very much and God bless everyone.